don't you listen to us?
Yeah.
And so, again, my job, I think, is certainly to listen, and I think I've demonstrated that over a long period of time. I think we wandered into a circumstance in which, again, many, if not most of those calls were from non-Kansans. Many Kansans did call. I'm not trying to diminish that. That caused the jam of the phones and the email. But I knew I'm not an idiot. I knew what Kansans, teachers in particular, educators were saying, parents, school board members.
So then you just chose to vote against what we wanted?
Well, I chose to analyze what I thought made the most sense with this administration and the commitments that this lady made to me, and my view of what a Secretary of Education ought to be.
Okay, I'm a teacher.
Thank you for being a teacher.
Thanks. It's, for me, to be a highly qualified educator, I have to attend an accredited university. I have to take tests. I have to demonstrate that I'm competent in the classroom. So then when you're saying like, well, she doesn't need to really be that qualified, which is essentially what you said to her over there, she doesn't need to meddle. I'm thinking she at least needs to know what's going on, even if she's not going, even if you think she doesn't need to be someone who makes these choice decisions. She still, at the very least, have attended a public school, have sent her children to public schools. What she's doing for kids in college right now with their loans, it's so infuriating. And then the fact that, although I don't think you came to Scott City, Kansas.
I have.
Well, you didn't when I was in high school, so I was saying, but so,
a mail.
There you go. You learned, even if your representatives represent you, your representatives represent your interests, no matter what they may be. If you voted for them or not. So then my thing is, when you tell us like, I get what you're saying, but I'm just going to not do it anyway. You're not really representing me. You're not representing our kids. And I think it's ridiculous to say we're going to put the hands of public education into the hands of a woman who didn't even know what IDEA was whenever she was, you said she did poorly, and that's fine, but had I performed poorly on my competency test, I wouldn't be a public school teacher. So then I don't want someone who performs poorly in front of a congressional hearing and know nothing about public education to then be in charge of public education. So, if I had billions of dollars, I would go to Washington and try to fix this, but I don't. I'm a public school teacher. So I guess that's where we rely on people like you who are our representatives and who represent us. We rely on you to listen and to have our interests at heart. And I think it's great you're doing things for rural Kansas, but, put your plan in action. You say lots of great things, but when it comes down to it, will you just vote the Republican Party line? Well, you're saying you're not going to vote against vouchers, but when it comes up, are you going to be like, well, we have a majority, so I'm going to do it. I guess that's where the frustration comes from, I think.
I think the frustration comes.
That's where my frustration comes from.
It is interesting that you say about it because I've been in high school government classes in which the conversation is Senator. There's a discussion about the role of a representative. Is he or she supposed to just simply take a poll and do what his or her constituents say? Or are they supposed to make independent decisions?
I definitely think that it's a balance, and I get that, and I understand that you are someone who we think is, qualified to be in this position.
What's disappointing to me is that your skepticism about how will he vote. I don't want to just. It sounds like I'm defending myself, but the point I would make is this is the analysis I went through. You disagree,
and
others do. But the ultimate goal that I had was to do nothing that harmed public education. And I think what the Secretary of Education should be or is or was, and has never asked me a question about the Secretary of Education.
Maybe because the Secretary of Education previously had been someone qualified for the position. Have you ever thought about that?
I did that the other day. I had this conversation with the superintendent, and he goes, "Oh no, President Obama's was terrible too."
And that's okay. And my thing is,